It definitely has to be all farmland, basically. I should put a well, like right here somewhere. That is going to take some money. I could... By the way, I've tried out zucchini noodles. I have in the past. I haven't in a long time, but I have in the past. I've also tried these noodles. They're pretty good. They do a good job of, like, if you're really craving pasta, they do a good job of sort of helping you through that craving. Wow, that's a lot of stone. There's this other one though that I like a lot more. I'm trying to remember what it's called now. See if they have it. I think it's this. No, that's Miracle Noodles. As soon as you said that, Lars, this is what I was looking at. The Miracle Noodles, shirataki noodles. I wish I could see what they look like. I don't think this is the brand I've ever gotten. Let's see. I'll know it when I see it. It's in like a clear, oh, like this. Is it this? It's not this brand. No, that isn't quite right. Spaghetti. It might still, it's a plant-based thing, I believe. It might be like Heart of Palms. Yeah, something like that. Oops. It might be shirataki. It's like a certain brand that I get from a store here, but I don't do diets or anything because of eating disorders, but I love experimenting with food and so on. Yeah, and that's why I'm always hesitant about, like, even talking so much about it, because I know a lot of people struggle with eating disorders, and I know that some of these quote-unquote diets can really turn into bad eating patterns. So, you know, and I've done just about every single diet out there. But again, what I have found for me personally is that the more I avoid sugar and processed carbs like that, the better generally I feel. And yes, I lose weight, but however, like, as I get older, I'm more and more concerned about just feeling okay and not feeling like trash all the time. So I think whatever helps you feel a little bit better, I think is good, as long as you can manage that. Yeah, like Weight Watchers, it's essentially eating disorder incorporated. Yeah. Feeling okay is an option. It is sometimes for me, but then other people will feel much better on a diet that includes more carbohydrates than me. It just depends on the person, you know. Just feeling okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jenny Craig, like, well, so then okay. So all of those are bad, right? Like, well, okay. I hate putting, like, morality to it, because I think that's part of our problem is we've attached morality to food and to overeating, and I don't think it's a moral issue. I think a lot of times it's a psychological issue and something's out of balance. But the problem is like places like Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, all these corporated eating disorder diets, you know, they're bad. You know, we'll use air quotes, but just as bad, if not worse, can just be some of these, like, influencer type people on Instagram and anywhere else you find them, who have latched on to a certain diet and are like, this is it. You have to do this. You have to, you have to do it my way or you're not going to lose weight. The gamification of calories in, below calories out. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm talking about. But then they use that as a jumping off point to feed into a disorder you might have and get you to buy into their plan, when really all their plan is just a different way of calories in versus calories out. I think there's more to it, again, when we're talking about less about weight, like losing weight, and more about feeling better, for me personally, feeling better and feeling more, just feeling better in general. there is more to it than calories in versus calories out, right? So if your goal is to just lose weight, absolutely. But if your goal is to, you know, potentially lose some of the really stubborn fat and then also just feel better in general, then calories in and calories out isn't the only thing you have to pay attention to, right? You have to pay attention to like your actual like vitamin and mineral intake and stuff like that. A different way of making that money. Yeah, so some of those people can just be just as scummy because they're going to tell you basically what Lars is saying, that like, don't do Weight Watchers because Weight Watchers is horrible for you. Don't do keto because keto is horrible for you. Don't do Jenny Craig because that's horrible for you. Do what I tell you to do. Buy my program and buy my book. And it's not like these other things. And then before you know it, you've spent all this money on this, on something that's relatively the same thing as everything else, you know? A good body feel does require attention to what calories you get. Absolutely. Right. Yeah, you cannot... I understand the calories in versus calorie out mentality. That is, I believe, to be true at the end of the day. By my flatbread. Yeah, I believe that is true at the end of the day. However, you cannot tell me that 100 calories of cake is giving you the same thing as 100 calories of broccoli. It's not the same. It's not the same. Non-vache win. Yes, I'm going to make my own line of lavash bread and call it non-vache. That sounds way too close to a very popular left-wing streamer, Vosh. That sounds a little too close to that. I never thought my name and that name would be so close. Nutrients versus calories is a fight they're creating. I'm sponsored by them. You never know. Stealth sponsor. No, I think you have to be very upfront about sponsorships, but different fiber content, different macros. So no, yeah. Yeah, so again, I don't think we should say cake calories equal bad, broccoli calories equal good. I think, again, attaching morality to food is ridiculous. But we can say cake calorie different than broccoli calorie. They're two. It's like you're gonna get two different experiences out of that. You're gonna get a different type of energy out of each one. But the more we can detach morality from our food, I think the better. So it isn't that I look at carbohydrates as evil and bad. I just look at it as I need a different energy source because for me personally, my body processes those things in a very bad way. And the more I avoid them, the better I generally feel. And I still allow myself to, like, you know, to have some occasionally. Just 90% of the time I don't. I saw a video on whole proteins and the theory being flawed or whatnot, which made me personally feel a lot better. Whole proteins? I'm not sure what that is. Or you just mean like the high protein type diets? Research I found years ago, different blood types need different type of diet. That's a possibility as well. Are you talking about like complete and complex type things, like complex carbohydrates versus yeah, post it in the health channel. We do have a health channel in the Discord. This is the kind of conversation I love to have. I need to go close this. I need to close this window here because the sun is coming out and you can tell how extremely white I am. So give me a moment. Let me close this real quick. Okay. His hand is holy. No, it's just white. It's just white and pasty. The sun just reflects off of it. Say it. Say it. Vampire. Just your angelic glow from not using mods that spawn items in for you and start... Oh, wait. Yes, but not because of the calories, but what those calories are made of and how your body responds to them. Yeah. 1800 kcal of veggies will work differently for you and me because our bodies and gut biomes are different. Yep. Meta diets like keto are just generally efficient, but not individually efficient. Yeah, yeah. I have learned that a lot over the last couple of years, that one, to not follow your diet like a religion, because the people who follow diets like a religion are really, I think it does a lot of harm. So basically to label some food as good and some food as evil, I think that does a lot of harm, and that feels very religious to me. And where it's like, I have found the only way to do it. This is the right way to do it. This is the way our ancestors did it. So this is the way we should do it. I think that's all so incredibly wrong. I'll attach morality to that. I think that's wrong. I think that's not okay for you to do. Talk to your doctor, like get your blood work done, figure out what works for you. The cool thing about what I was doing is, every time I do this and I get my blood work taken, it is fantastic. Like I start moving in the right direction and things start looking really good. So that's why I know for me that this really does work. Yeah, our ancestors ate raw meat. I should too. We invented fridges for a reason, you know? I was like, could there be people out there who could benefit from eating raw meat? Maybe, but I wouldn't do it. Like, I would be very careful with that kind of stuff. Like, Liver King. Do you guys know who Liver King is? Do we want to do a little non-react section here and talk about like diet stuff and Liver King? The girl from the one TV show, or one rather, Heidi. She was paparazzi eating raw donkey heart. Ooh. Do you guys want to know more about Liver King? Yes or no? Or do we want to move off the topic? Is that true, Silly? Are you 500 pounds? When I get my blood work done, the doctors are astonished because my blood work is perfect. Wow. I will say that a ketogenic diet is the most interesting in a long time because it does work different biochemically. At the end of the day, it still needs kcal in, kcal out. Just because it burns fat for energy doesn't mean you can eat all fat and lose all of it. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, what I found was, Levi's interested in Liver King. What I found was, I got deep into the science of, real quick, let me go ahead and go save this and we'll talk about this some more. I got deep into the science of ketogenic style diets and low carb in general over the last couple of years. And I had some great experience losing weight on that. I was probably the smallest I'd ever been, had the most amount of energy when I stuck with it, right? And so I'd really gotten into the science of that. We're gonna go ahead and exit because we're getting a little late anyway. I gotten really deep into the science of that, and what I found though was at a certain point, like once I had kind of shed some of that like surface level fat, I guess you could call it, like a lot of water weight, a lot of the surface level fat, so that deep ingrained fat, like the stuff that everybody really wants to lose. When you get to that point, you have to really start tracking everything. So really getting aggressive with the carbohydrate level, really getting aggressive balancing out fat and protein and all that. And so by that point, it was like, well, honestly, I'm feeling great. All my clothes are fitting great. I have good energy levels. I'm working out. At that point, what I should have done is just said, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm healthy. I got a little bit of extra weight, but you know what? I'm happy. But instead, I got a little obsessive about it. And I when I wasn't losing what I thought I should, I started getting I think I started getting the wrong mindset then, because it was like I just had to. I felt like I knew this stuff so well that like I should be losing more weight than I was. But knowing what I know now, that it's like your body does kind of stabilize into a natural state, I should have just been happy where I was, because that was like 50 pounds less than what I am now. So, but what happened instead, me obsessing about it, had me eventually just give up. And that was a problem. And then I kind of went. Of course, that coincided with us also inviting a little baby into our house as well. So like there was a lot of other stuff going on. But anyway, do tell us about Liver King. Okay, we're gonna talk about Liver King. Heidi Montag, is that how you say the name? Ate raw bison heart in public in a completely not staged paparazzi shoot. Well, best response I got with keto is I lost the afternoon snooze. So you're saying you had more energy in the afternoon? That's super interesting to me because I feel my body and the way I do, I'm exactly the opposite. Even on a ketogenic style diet, even though I wouldn't even say I'm on the keto diet right now. I'm just watching my carbohydrate intake. The afternoons are the hardest part for me. I get pretty low energy, but also that was happening to me on any other diet or if I was just eating whatever I wanted, the afternoons were still hard. So, I have so much energy in the mornings though. Up until about 2 o'clock, I am a great person. And then 2 o'clock hits and I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to bed. Like, yeah. I lost a friendship over someone being pushy with the keto diet. Like suddenly I wasn't human anymore. They lost. Yeah. And that was the problem I've had with so many of the influencers who are pushing that diet is that it becomes so religious. Like there's no better word to use than that. It's so religious that they're like, hey, if you don't do this, you can lose weight on this. If you don't do this, you're never going to lose weight. And it's like, that's not true, obviously, because I know people who've lost weight just by counting calories. But for me, I'm so used to eating that way and I feel so much better avoiding sugars that it just makes sense for me. I'm able to do it a lot easier than other people. So yeah, that's just wrong. Yeah. I thought this was going to be about the Liver King. Now I'm scared this is some sort of origin story and that you are the Liver King. No, you'll see who the Liver King is here. Let me start pulling some of that up. I'm just trying to keep up with chat here. You guys are wild. Okay. Liver King. Inviting a baby into your house sounds like you told a vampire that they could enter your home. He's a cute vampire. He's an adorable vampire. I get less drowsy in the afternoon with keto. Okay, with non-keto, I almost fall asleep in the afternoons. Interesting. So like that's a perfect example though of why, different people are different. Different folks are different folks, because I'm exactly the opposite. I get so much energy in the morning from doing this, and then in the afternoon I just fall off. Let's see, liver. So there's a lot of people who have done Liver King videos. So maybe, okay, so I'm probably not going to show you a ton of this. Because some of it he goes like hunting and stuff, so we're not going to show him like killing animals and whatnot. Fetus is technically are parasitic too. Yeah, in a way. Yeah. But man, he's cute and I love him to death. But yeah, just that added stress and like Nidalicious, you're saying gain some of it back during your PhD. I'm sure during a time of stress is really where it does start to kind of fall off and you tend to go back to some more like comforting foods and that can kind of pack it on. And stress can pack it on as well. Okay, so y'all, this is Liver King. No, don't get me wrong. I like liver. I've had liver before. I'm actually a big proponent to liver, but I cook it. This gentleman, he eats liver raw. He does a whole lot of stuff. Let's see if we can find like a good video that recaps what he does. But yeah, there is some. So just, I don't know if I should say like trigger warning or not, but content warning here. I would not follow this man's advice at all. I would talk to your doctor. Is this the only videos he has? Wait, this is all the videos he has? I thought this would be like way more Interesting. Yeah, so we won't watch like the Sacred Hunt one. Yeah. Yeah, candy soda. Yeah, it just that does happen. And I think we would give ourselves like some cheat meals and stuff, especially when things were getting a little hard. But sometimes you just need to be like, okay, we're just in survival mode at this point. We're trying to get through this time in our lives. And I feel like we're kind of getting through that. Things are really starting to kind of calm down, and we're getting into the swing of things. He's getting older and more active and running around and stuff. But anyway, I love pate stuff, not foie gras. I don't know what that is. Eastern European pate kind of stuff. The first time you had liver was pan-fried and breaded with gravy. Oh, yeah. See, like fried and breaded is good, but I just like to at least cook it. Let's see if we can find... Should we just listen to him answer some questions? This might be enlightening.
Here.
Whoa,
We're
okay.
going to address the top 10 most frequently asked questions on Instagram. Here we go.
Oh, I think he's more active on Instagram than he is... Whoa. I think he's more active on Instagram than he is on YouTube. That's probably why. So this guy eats, I think, mostly meat, if not only meat.
The most commonly asked question that I get is, what's my workout routine? Like my
Let's see how he
profile
works
says,
out.
I'm the CEO of the ancestral lifestyle.
It's French
what I'm championing
foie gras.
Is the ancient path to a better, stronger, leaner, healthier, disease-free life, and there's no amount of money or anything that can pull me in another direction. I'm happy to share Liver King's workout program and meal plans.
Except for all the money I make from the Liver King workout program and meal plans. No amount of money could ever sway me because I'm already making plenty of money this way.
And you'll be stoked to know.
Can I watch this on Twitch, by the way? Is this is having a shirtless guy? Is that okay? I thought I heard something about I think I can't be the one without a shirt, right? Fair use and commentary. I thought so too. But I know like I can't like stream shirtless, I think. Anyway, okay. Well, I mean, you know,
that I'm developing
we'll see what happens.
Programming and meal plans that will be offered for free at thefittest.com. And that's coming very goddamn soon. So check it out.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Interim,
this was just January 23rd.
All 9 ancestral tenets, because this lifestyle will optimize your hormones, get you stronger and leaner, improve recovery, and do more for your workout goals than any new workout or meal plan. Are you even eating liver and bone marrow yet? If not, start immediately.
The dude eats like raw, not just liver and not just bone marrow, but all of this raw. Like raw. Like don't cook it.
Immediately and dominate.
Start
the
immediately.
The second most commonly asked question that I get is, where do you get your liver and how can I find a good source? I get my liver and bone marrow from the wild animals that my boys and I ethically hunt. We call it a sacred hunt. If I need supplemental liver or bone marrow, my go-to is my local butcher and or my local farmer, and then White Oak Pastures. And these guys are amazing, best in class.
The streamer can't be shirtless. Okay, good.
Go to your butcher, go to your farmer's market, and get
this guy is like...
If you can't or won't, or if you're
ripped.
traveling or on vacation, there's an awesome alternative option.
Yeah, definitely no steroids, right?
Freeze-dried liver and bone marrow in a simple, convenient gelatin capsule. It's a distant second, but still geometrically effective.
Okay, this is kind of boring. So... I thought there'd be more of a... Should we look at his website instead? Yeah, here we go. Let's look at his website. Liver King. I want to see the ancestral tenets that he... Yeah, here we go. Download the 9 ancestral tenets, a guide for the modern day primal. Take massive action. Not just a little action, not one step in the proper direction. Go massive. Eat raw meat. Every man, woman, and child has the right to be strong, healthy, and happy. Agree. Autoimmune free, eczema free, allergy free, fatigue free, and so on. To live life with robust energy and biological resilience. To go from mere existence in life to discovering that which makes life worth living. Okay? Discover the Liver King. I mean, fully agree. Like, the guy's jacked. Like, he's a little more jacked than, like, Joe Rogan. I don't think Joe Rogan does, like, raw stuff at all. I know he eats a lot of, like, elk meat, but I don't think he does it raw, though. So he's a part of the, like, primal movement, right? Like, if you've heard of, like, paleo type diet, he could be on roids. So here's the only reason why I'm not entirely sure. His hairline. So when you get an excess of testosterone, what tends to happen is your hairline does start to recede and thin. And you start to kind of, you know, get a little balding pattern going on. Your beard, though, tends to grow. So it's kind of like this weird, you lose the hair up here, it shifts down to here. And your testosterone, it's weird. It's like the guys on like high testosterone. Although this looks like it might have been a while back. Look at the difference between this one and this one, though. This might have been earlier on, but his hairline looks pretty good. But there's a reason why a lot of these like muscle builder guys like don't have a ton of hair on the top of their head. They usually have pretty nice beards and jacked, like they're jacked, right? But they don't have like a ton of hair on the top of their head. I'm not a scientist. I don't know for sure, but that is in my experience, you know, because I'm all, you know, I got the beard here. I've got too much testosterone flowing through me, so my hair is going away. But yeah. Rogan did carnivore, the meat and water only, for 30 days. Hey, bud. You got Mickey Mouse? The boy has awoken. Don't worry, we're just looking at Liver King. Hi, Liver King. He's a guy who eats, like, raw liver. Yeah. Hi. Look, it's Mickey Mouse. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Okay. I love you. Have some breakfast. I'll be out in a couple minutes, okay? My boyfriend says he is. Boyfriend is someone who would love to do some roids, but they're not legal. Yeah. The boy has to woken. Yeah. So he's one of those guys who's like, the way that our ancestors did things is the best way, right? But the way that our ancestors lived, in my own opinion, my own personal, very not jacked opinion, our ancestors lived a lot of that way out of necessity and less out of like them knowing that that was good for them. So I don't think that just by saying that our ancestors, used to do something, I don't think that means that, man, I keep on burping. This is great. This is a great time to be burping pizza. I don't think that this is like, just because our ancestors did something, I don't think that means that we should always do it. Because there might have been a lot of stuff they don't know, you know? I don't know. Primals that were quietly suffering, trapped in their own homes, now reconnecting with the outside world. So I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with like wanting to connect with nature, wanting to be more energetic, wanting to do this. But the problem is when he starts to say that like, this is the way, this is the only way. And look at me, big man with muscle, good. Fat guy, not good. You know, that's basically what it comes down to. You can't get that amount of muscle without doing some stuff. It's possible. Again, the only thing that makes me pause to that is just the hairline, but it could just be good genetics. I don't know, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Liverking.com/eat. Here we go. Liver and bone marrow ancestors grew robust. What? Liver and bone marrow ancestors grew robust, valuing the animal foods above all else. That sentence makes no sense. Consuming plant foods mostly as survival foods to get them by between hunts. Okay. So he prioritizes organic, pastured egg yolks, wild-caught fish eggs, raw full-fat milk and cheese, homemade bone broth, fermented veggies, and of course, organ and muscle meats from happy grass-fed animals grazing on open pastures. That sounds great. You know how expensive it is to eat that way? It's very expensive to eat that way. All feasts are cooked with plenty of lard and or raw butter to increase the nourishing fat intake. Now I know that like most people doing like commentary on this guy at this point go bonkers, right? They'll go like, wow, he's eating lard and tallow and butter, and like, I can't believe he eats all that fat. And like, there is some science behind that. There is, I know. It again cannot be good for everyone. It cannot be 100% like applied to like, just because this guy looks like this doesn't mean that you should eat like this. However, it isn't the craziest thing. It really isn't. I think the raw stuff is where he gets a little like, ooh. And he should definitely like eat a salad sometimes. I love salad. A big guy with unrealistic muscles. He could also have gotten transplants. That'd be wild if that were true. I don't know if that's true. There's a huge YouTuber that's one of the few open about his steroid use. I like him. He's very positive and dismissive of fake health influences. I feel like if you're doing steroids, you should just be like, you should tell people that. Just be like, yeah, like I'm this big because like you don't get jacked without actually trying to get jacked. You know, like it doesn't happen. Like you're not going to eat like he does and then look like he does. There's going to be a lot of work involved in that. Oh, hair transplants. You said not muscle transplants. He just got fake muscles transplanted into his body. If they cut out fats and water, they could be more jacked. They could, yeah, dehydrate themselves out. But there is some science to the fact that our bodies do process fat differently. But again, you know, it's going to be different for every single person. So it's really hard to see some of this stuff out there and know that like you got a kernel of truth there, but you have to be super careful in applying that to everybody and just saying that everybody is going to act this way. Everybody is going to react this way. Everybody's going to be a king. And a bigger issue, I think, too, is, you know, he's talking about eating like a king. He's talking about organic eggs, wild caught fish, fish eggs, full fat milk and cheese raw, homemade bone broth, fermenting veggie, organ and muscle meat. Do you know how expensive that is? And so there's also this mentality of like, he would love for everyone to eat this way, but the reality is that not everybody can eat this way. This is a very privileged way to eat. I even agree that the way that I eat, where I do avoid a lot of processed carbohydrates, is a very privileged way to eat. And I have to recognize that privilege, and I can't then say that the way I'm eating is the way everybody else should eat, because I know it's not realistic. It's just not. If he was also at the same time being like, we need to make these kinds of foods, these healthy foods, available to the most amount of people as possible, and I'm donating half of my proceeds to whatever organization will help make that a reality, that might be a different story, you know? But I don't think he's doing that. He's just saying you need to eat like a king, so you better have money like a king. So that means that the only people who can live like the ancestors lived are rich people. That's it. And fasting. I don't really want to get into fasting right now because I feel like it could get really dangerous for people with eating disorders. So we're gonna skip over fasting right now. I don't even want to. Yeah. To be clear, Liver King and Tribe prioritize fundamentals like liver and bone marrow and a nutrient-dense nose-to-tail diet. As the name infers, supplements, oh, that's interesting, so you need supplements, should be used as a secondary means to enhance a nutrient-rich diet. Supplementation can help with sleep and metabolic function, be leveraged for targeted support. I wonder, so we're talking about minerals, right? I wonder if you'd get some of those minerals if you just had a salad every now and then. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But it feels like you get a lot of vitamins and minerals from eating things like vegetables, which should be a part of your diet, right? And then you wouldn't have to supplement. So he's basically saying like you need to eat like this, right? And then, well, you know, you also need some supplements. So buy my supplements. Here's my supplements. Ancestral Supplements. I'm assuming this is his company, maybe not, but definitely he's promoting them, right? So like, yeah, here's all the supplements, and I'm not even opposed to like, these would probably be supplements I would probably take. Like, I'm not saying they don't work, but what I am saying is that like you preach that this diet is the only thing you need, and then it's like, but also you need to supplement it with this, and those supplements you probably would get from having a balanced diet, and maybe you wouldn't need as many as the supplements. If you want muscle transplants, look for Human Ken, Justin Jedlicka. There's also Noel Dizel. Justin looks weird. It's not his face. His fake muscles just look like that. So I would imagine like muscle implants would look super fake, right? Because you wouldn't have the rest of the body to do it. I feel like I've seen some of the muscle implants. Yeah, I mean, this guy's definitely not doing muscle implants, but he's probably, I don't know. It'd be hard to say. He's either something like that, or it's just he is nonstop working out. Excuse me. It might be all he does. He might just eat raw meat and work out. That might be all he does, you know? Because it might be all he has time for. Let's see his workouts. Workouts and best lifts. There's a mismatch between our physical activity we experience in modern world and our ancestral environment. There's a big mismatch as his diet. I mean, I agree. I agree with that. I think we don't move enough. I personally don't move enough. If you're rich, you can just work out. Yeah, so like you get all of this high quality, hard to find food, and you have the time to work out for hours a day. And he's probably super active, right? I mean, he talks about like how much more energy he has. So I'm sure he uses that energy, right? Like he doesn't sit by, he doesn't have a 9-to-5 desk job like I do, you know? Work hard every day, sometimes twice a day, even on rest days. Liver King is always moving. This is toxic. I got to tell you, like, I want people to move more. I want people to work out. I think that if you want to build muscle, you can and you should. However, like, like telling people that even on rest days that you should be like moving and working out, like, okay, so Monday, lower body focusing on 1 RMs. I don't know what that means. Metabolic conditioning focusing on muscle hypertrophy. Think heavy pulls, Olympic lifts, handstand push-ups, chest to bar push-ups, and legless rope climbs. What if you can't even do one push-up? So this feels like this is a diet and workout plan for people who are already pretty strong. Right? Like, you're not going to jump on this if you're overweight and you haven't worked out very much. Like, it's going to be really hard for you to jump on this stuff. Upper body push, plenty of dynamic polymetric movement. You can download his full workout. He's going to ask for like my email and stuff, right? Whoa. Testosterone, manhood, virility. This is pandering to a very certain type of person, I think. Yeah. We're here to help. Okay, here we go. Okay, well, look at that. They didn't even ask for my email to get it. I really thought that I was going to have to, like, put in your email. We'll download it. We'll send it to you. At my prime, I could do a few handstand push-ups. That'd be really cool. I'd like to get to there. Excess testosterone has been linked to sterility. Yeah, like, you need balance, right? You don't want any one thing to be over the other, right? But just the way that they put it, like, you're gonna have so much virility, it's gonna be oozing out of your pores. Suffice it to say, if the zombie apocalypse rears its head, I do not want this man. Wait, hang on. Since our inception, the noble caste of ancestors was the barbarian class. In the modern world, the noble caste is popularly defined as those with money and or possessions of commerce. And that's not you, Mr. Eating expensive liver meat every day? When I shake the manicured hand of a modern man and feel how smooth, soft, and limp it is. Oh, screw this guy. It reveals a core character attributes. I've never wanted to flip off somebody. What is this, D&D? It is D&D. Yeah. You both said that at the same time. That's funny. Yeah, so suffice it to say, if a zombie apocalypse rears its head, he doesn't want me. He doesn't want me. Although, like, my manicure job could be a lot better. I bite my nails. So, and I mean, I guess my hands are smooth. They're probably smoother than his. I can't imagine it feels very nice to be touched by this man, but I guess I'll just have to use my imagination. Grip strength is more than just health, longevity, and respect. It's an ancestral indicator of true nobility. You can't fake it. You can't buy it. It can only be earned. How we look is an outward expression of what we believe. I imagine he has nasty calluses from lifting. Absolutely. Absolutely he does. Yeah, like I can't imagine that he would be fun to like shake hands with because it would just... Yeah, this is entirely Joe Rogan kind of guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's been on Joe Rogan's podcast. Can I be an incel, as the kids would say? Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd call him an incel just because he's probably fine. I think he's married, I think. I think he's probably fine in that respect. Can I be honest with y'all? So, like, I think this is a big problem. It isn't, we've now crossed a line, right? This isn't about like, this doesn't feel about health any longer. Right now, as we go into this, and he was talking about health, and he was talking about, you know, making sure that you have all your supplements and you're getting up and you're moving. I think that's all good. When we get to this, now we start seeing some of the very weird, like, some very weird priorities. It was this sentence, honestly, this whole thing down here that did it for me. That he's putting down guys who have office jobs, whereas like he couldn't live the life that he lives right now without people in the office moving around his liver meat through the production chain in order to get to him. There's so much that he would take for granted that he wouldn't have access to anymore. Yeah, a cult. Yeah, it feels very culty. But here's the expression I wanted to have, is that this type of stuff is very appealing to certain people. And Silly kind of hit it on his head. It's very appealing to people. I don't want to call them incels. I don't really like that name. But it's appealing to young men who maybe feel like they are, you know, they're a little overweight. They're not attractive. They, you know, they've had to work really hard to get everything they have in life. They, you know, honestly, to the white boys. So I can understand why you want to say incel, but I just hate that. Disenfranchised. That's a good word. Disenfranchised boys who, feel like the reason why they're so down on their luck is because they haven't worked hard enough, you know, that they could pull themselves up by their bootstraps, if that sounds familiar. And that if they just put in the work, they could look like this guy and then they would be happy. So really just people who probably need to go to therapy. And I can feel that a younger me would have been very susceptible to this. I used to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, not religiously, but I used to listen to it a lot, and I took a lot of his advice. And I you know, I'm kind of ashamed of that now that I'm a little bit older, and I don't anymore. But it's like I would have seen myself as very susceptible to this in my younger years, and that's what scares me, is that there's a lot of guys who just like, they just need to install the cheat mod. But there's a lot of guys who would just eat this stuff up because they feel like there's a magic formula that they're missing. And if they could just figure out that magic formula, they would all of a sudden be happy. They would be successful. They would be jacked. They would be attractive. And probably the biggest thing they honestly need to work on is just like their mental health first. And then you can worry about like getting, you know, jacked. You know what I mean? Me personally, I put in all the work just to stay alive. Yeah. And I've been attacked for having a single cheeseburger for lunch while in Florida. Jeez. By one of those types of guys. Yeah. Don't be ashamed to listen to Joe Rogan, what he says. Just be aware of the stuff he's stuff from the world and history he's lived through. Yeah, like, and I don't feel like, I do think that a lot of the Joe Rogan stuff, like when I was listening to him, I think he was a lot different. He was a lot more like classic Joe, where he would let anybody on to talk, right? Like anybody on to talk. The stuff he's been doing lately, I have really, 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 really disagreed with, especially the COVID stuff. And so I understand why he's getting a lot of flack, because I think his move to Texas has really changed things a lot. But so, yeah, I mean, I feel only ashamed in the fact that I think some people would make an assumption about me if I say that I listen to it. But I always kind of took him with a grain of salt. But like the stuff about like, you know, eating healthier and getting away from processed carbohydrates, I learned a lot of the science from guests that he had on. And though I do believe those things to be true to an extent. But yeah. Oh yeah, I even at one point wanted to do jujitsu too, just because of him. Yep. He has a lot of info about diet and exercise and body optimization, but he's not a physician. Exactly. Yeah. But that's, you know, again, like I feel like there's some people who are really susceptible to that, and it can get toxic if you're not in the right headspace for it. So I would prefer people like work on their mental health, and then you can kind of, you know, go into that kind of stuff, you know. Generally don't bring me up listening. I generally don't bring me up listening to Rogan's podcast. Yeah, just because there's a lot of like stigma attached to it, and I think some of that's well earned. I do think he needs to do a better job, but my boyfriend still listens to him, but I think I've turned around and listening to it seriously. Yeah, I think you just need to be aware. I don't think I would tell anybody like don't listen to so and so. I just think you need to be aware of some of the stuff. It was a Jordan B. Peterson episode. I couldn't get through the first 20 minutes. I could probably do a very long video on, and I've thought about this video idea for a long time, or even a stream, where I talk about how I almost fell down the alt-right pipeline. Almost. And whether, I don't think Joe Rogan is alt-right per se, but he did have a part to play in that. And I bear the responsibility a lot for that because I was very susceptible. Yes, sir. Buttons? Okay. I do need to end this. Okay. You want to do the buttons? Zeke wants to do the buttons, but that's a much longer conversation I think we need to have about that, because I've been toying around with that idea for a long time, and I just haven't had the courage to do it. Yeah, I need to go play with Zeke. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I think people need to remember that's an entertainment podcast hosted by a comedian. He just has a lot of guests from Hunkatus, from different creeds, and I do believe he has a genuine interest in a lot of stuff. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, no, and like I said, he played a part in that, but I think most of the responsibility lands on me. And who I chose to listen to, but the fact that like I didn't go all the way down that pipeline, that I could just probably say almost that I saw where the path was heading, and I went nope, and I went this other way, and how vindictive it can be to get you to the point where like if you think about this, you know, all these soft office jobs, soft and limp, has a very like these soft liberal mentality to it, that liberals are soft, conservatives are hardcore, you know, like, and I don't know anything about this guy's political beliefs, but I can only imagine. We'll do that one day, maybe.